Alicia here from We Do 3, back for my week 6 bump date. If you guys remember, I've been doing bump dates every week since I found out I was pregnant. This is my 3rd bump date, and today was actually my first midwife appointment, so I'm going to tell you all about that today, and I guess just update you on how I've been feeling, kind of run through the motions of how baby's doing and what's been growing this week. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my midwife appointment today and kind of like the rundown of how it went and what we talked about. We basically just went over my medical history, Edwin's medical history, how our last pregnancy went, and how I've been feeling, things that like we need to be concerned about, don't need to be concerned about. I got about 4 vials of blood taken. We also talked about how my care will be with them ongoing. They do a really interesting program where they have birth group classes where you meet with your midwife, and it's like 2-hour sessions where you also get to talk to like moms that are due around the same time you are. So it's like a birth group online in real life. And unfortunately, the one for me, it sounds like it starts in November. It doesn't start till like your 2nd trimester-ish. And the one for me will be on Thursdays at a time in the morning where it would be really hard for me to go with how my work schedule is. So I'm gonna have to see about that. Unfortunately, I think I might be stuck with just meeting with my midwife one-on-one, which isn't a bad thing, but it's also kind of like, man, I kind of will feel sad if I miss out on that. So maybe I'll get to go a couple times and see what they can do to work around that. My next midwife appointment is not till the 1st week of October, so that's 4 weeks from now. I'll be about 10 weeks. The nurse that I met with today did put in an order for an early ultrasound, and I'm gonna hope to get that done sometime after next Thursday. She did advise, she was like, probably wait 1 more week just to be safe, like, because if you go in at 7 weeks or later, your chances of seeing the heartbeat are so much better, you'll feel better, and I totally agree with that. So I'm thinking that we probably won't go till the end of next week, if not the week after, early in the week. So we'll see about that. We did talk about getting a little bit of genetic testing. Basically, the only reason we're doing any genetic testing is so that we can get the sex of the baby earlier, so that we can have a gender reveal on Halloween. So we did talk about how I'll need to order that and what it entails, and it's basically just a blood test that'll also give us some genetic markers for our risks for certain and I'm not really too concerned about that. I mean, we don't really care. I mean, however our baby is born, I will love it no matter what. I mean, we just want to know the gender so that we can have a fun party. That's all. On Halloween, my favorite holiday. And that's how my midwife appointment went. Quick, easy. I really love their midwife group. They are always super nice, so I'm excited to keep working with them. Last week, I also mentioned the books that I was going to start reading. I've been really bad about reading them, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I did have a question on the video about whether or not I was doing a pregnancy journal or advising that I should start one. And I actually have been journaling about my pregnancy. I've been doing kind of like 1 to 2 entries a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And I've just been doing them in this really pretty journal that I bought for this purpose a while ago and put away. When we get a little further into the pregnancy, and especially after the baby is born, I also have this really cute baby journal. And it's kind of got its own, it's like a baby book, but it's got its own kind of like built-in template that you like fill in and put pictures in, and super adorable. And I'm going to be doing both of those throughout my pregnancy and then after the baby is born. This week the baby is now the size of, there's a couple different options to see what the baby size is. The first one is a ladybug. How cute is that? The other one that's given as an example is a sweet pea. A couple places have it listed as a lentil. I'm kind of preferring to think about it as ladybug in my head because that is the cutest thing I've ever heard. This week, the big thing is that the heart starts to beat, hopefully, and also that its little arm and leg buds start to move out of its little pod of a body. So those things are very exciting. This week, I felt a little less. It's been kind of like an up and down wave motion. The beginning of the week, I felt terrible. I had just the most exhaustion I felt so far, and a couple of really bad headaches, just all around crappy from like Sunday to Tuesday pretty much. And I slept a bunch over those days and finally started to feel better. And then from like Monday to today, and today is like the tail end of it, my chest had been so sore that I could barely move, and like any motion just was terrible. While that was happening, I noticed that my queasiness was kind of like backing off a little, and that kind of made me worried. I don't like it when, like, I like my symptoms to be large and in charge and really like letting me know they're there. So when I woke up this morning, luckily, I did feel more queasy, and I have felt more queasy all day, so I'm wondering now if the morning sickness is going to pick up now that I'm in my 6th week. Sometimes for some people it doesn't start right away. It picks up usually around this time. So hopefully I'll just be, you know, really normal like other people, and it'll start to pick up. And we'll see kind of what else happens this week. It really is just up and down all the time. Speaking of up and down, my emotions this week have been crazy. They've just been all over the place. One thing I talked about in my blog today that I wanted to talk about a little bit here was the anxiety of pregnancy right now is really strong for me. One thing that I feel like is happening is that I'm not letting myself get as excited as I would like to be about pregnancy, and I think it's mostly just because I am so worried about another loss. It kind of feels like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it feels like a little too good to be true. So I'm really having to like work myself out of that, because I really don't want that to cloud my pregnancy, and I really am a very positive person usually, but just kind of feels like a cloud has been hanging over me the last week or so with that kind of emotion. I also have found that it makes me like almost uncomfortable for people to ask me like how I'm feeling and like ask me about my pregnancy, because I almost feel like no, don't talk about it, you'll jinx it. I think that's what it is, but it also just is like, no, don't talk about it, like let's just pretend it's not happening, like, because I'm just like, nobody move, nobody breathe, like no one do anything, because if you do anything I might not be pregnant. Like, it's just the weirdest sensation, and I'm really hoping it'll pass. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately I have been feeling just kind of weird about that right now, and it's just still really hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that we even maybe might have a baby to take home in May. Like, to me it's so abstract and just like doesn't feel real, and I will continue to keep taking pregnancy tests because it really doesn't. It doesn't feel real. It feels too good to be true. When is like everything gonna go wrong? Because that's kind of what I'm used to. So I'm trying to think more positive. I think it's really the pregnancy hormones that are kicking me in the butt and like just continue to kind of pull me down unintentionally. It's not their fault, but yeah, I think it's having a big effect on my brain and my emotions and all that jazz. I forgot to mention one other symptom, the weepiness, like where pregnant women cry at the drop of a hat. Totally a thing. That's another symptom that I've had start this week, which is really funny and also just inconvenient. I am again not going to do a bump show this week, but man, I feel like I am showing already, and we are taking pictures of my bump, but I'm not going to show it on the camera, I don't think, until like 8 weeks, because there's really not a lot to see. It mostly just looks like my stomach, which is larger anyway, but like if you see me every day you can see like that's a little bit more than you usually have, and it's probably mostly bloat at this point. But I also do think that I am showing earlier because I have been pregnant before and that my uterus has grown before, so I think it's just kind of expanding a little quicker. Next week, I'm hoping I really actually will have read one of the pregnancy books and can talk more about like how I feel about it and if it's good. I'm gonna really try to start one tonight and get through a bunch of it. I decided to stay with my prenatal vitamin because of a couple of reasons. One, it's inexpensive, which is actually a big deal. Prenatal vitamins are really expensive, the nice ones. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm sure they're amazing, but also a lot of the ones that I looked into that were rated really high required you to take 2 a day instead of 1. The one I'm on now has everything I need in 1 pill. That's important to me. Second reason is that the pill I'm taking now has DHA in it, and all the other ones I was looking at that were really highly rated, you had to get DHA separately. So not only were you spending a lot more money on a pill, on a prenatal vitamin, but you also had to spend money to get the good DHA vitamin. And we just don't have that kind of cash to just throw around. For right now, I feel good about my pill. Doesn't make me sick. Works well for me. I'm sure it has just the right amount of everything the way that Labdoor says it does. It's rated right in the middle, so I know it's not bad, it's not off the chart, and it's not the best, and that's fine with me. I'm okay with mediocre. Otherwise, from last week, I don't think I have any more updates. I will see you guys next week for my 7-week update. I will probably have a date for my first ultrasound by then, which is great, unless we've already gone, which I don't anticipate, but we'll see. And I think otherwise that's all the updates for this week. I don't really have anything else. Let me know down in the comments, did you have pregnancy mood swings like that where you were just worried about the other shoe dropping? What kind of things helped you get over it? That's really my big focus this week, is to try and think way more positive, plan for the future, plan for a good outcome where things go right, and be confident that that's actually going to happen. I love your guys' faces. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you next week for my 7-week bump date. Bye!